Good morning everyone and welcome to the webinar on 833 Apprenticeships and Associated Training. In this webinar we'll be talking through how to bid as a provider onto the framework. Just to introduce myself, I'm Charlotte Kennett, Category Buyer here at YPO. I sit within the HR services area which covers the procurement of recruitment, training and anything else that fits within a HR remit. Also with me, I have Catriona Thackeray, Assistant Contracts Officer. Kat will be showing you through the YPO E-tender Portal today and the screens you will see along the way when looking to bid on the YPO framework. I'm just going to go through some housekeeping. You have all joined this webinar in listening mode only. However, you do have access to type questions throughout the webinar. I will go through some of the questions at the end, and if I don't have time to go through all the questions, I will create a Q&A document and share it with you all at the end. So today we are going to cover the background of the framework, how to register on the YPO tendering system, selection and mandatory questionnaire, quality and price assessment, and benefits for you to become a provider. Firstly, I will just quickly mention who YPO are. So YPO was established 45 years ago, and we have a wide range of customers within the public sector. We're 100% publicly owned by 13 local authorities, which means all our profits go back into our member associates after each year. I will start with some general information about the framework agreement. The framework agreement has been procured through the light touch regime due to the constant change in market. YPO have created a solution that allows us to add standards and providers throughout the contract. This is in line with the Public Contract Regulations 2015. The framework period is for 2 years with the option to extend for an additional 2 times 12 months. However, customers can call off beyond the life of the solution. So if they wanted to have a contract in place with you for 5 years, they can do. Any public sector organisation can use the framework, for example, local authorities, emergency services, housing, health organisations, charities, central government and education. If you are unsure if they are unable to use the YPO framework, please let us know. Now, I'm just going to go through how the framework is structured. This might look a little complicated. However, we have created a solution structure to allow as much flexibility as possible for the customers and yourselves as providers. As you can see on the slide, we have the overarching framework at the top, then we have split the framework into 11 regions. This allows you as a provider to bid for the relevant region that you can deliver in. These regions will be fixed for the duration of the framework. Within each of the regions, there are routes. These are the routes that have been specified by the Institute for Apprenticeships. These will be amended in line with any changes from the Institute as well. So an example of a route is business and administration. Finally, within each of the routes, there is all the relevant standards, which then allows you as a provider to bid against each specific standard within the region of your choice. You can bid for multiple regions within your bid response. Each quarter, new standards will be added as per the Institute for Apprenticeship list, which then allows providers to be able to bid against all current and new standards. The framework will constantly evolve throughout the duration of the framework, just getting bigger and bigger each time. So the procurement timetable, now this is quite an important document. So YPO structured the framework to open every quarter to allow you as the providers to bid. This ensures we constantly update the supply base. The framework procurement timetable, like I say, is a key document. This document enables you to understand when YPO will be closing the deadlines for submissions within that particular round. So, for example, we are currently in round 7 and the submission deadline for that round is Monday the 2nd of December at 2 p.m. We will also be adding new standards onto that specific round on Friday the 1st of November. Now on the sheet it does say that the round is finishing on the 1st of December. Now obviously that is a Sunday, which also means it's the next working day to that date. Now I'm going to pass you through on to Catriona, who will be able to talk you through the e-tendering portal.
So hello, good morning everybody. As Charlotte said, I'm Catriona and I sit in the contracts department here at YPO. We're just going to go through the e-tendering portal, how for yourselves to bid as providers, and just go through some frequently asked questions that we get on the portal. So as you can see here, I've got a link which is going to take me straight through to the portal. For yourselves, you can find Pro Contract Due North by simply typing that into Google, or we do have the link on our YPO website. So the first things first really is just to ensure that you've got an account. As you can see here, you're able to register free with Pro Contract, and you'll just literally bob in your organisation name, your email address, and it'll just do some checks to make sure that you don't already have an account, or just to check really that you can sort of make an account on here. If you already have a login as I do, you'll just click here on the login here. So it's taking me straight in because I'm already logged in, but if not, you would just sort of log in as normal. So I guess really first things first is to actually locate the tender 833, and to sort of do so, just ensure that you're on the home page, which is the screen that it will be when you first log in. You're going to come across the right hand side to this search bar area, and you sort of just need to put in an element of the framework title. So I'm just going to put in 833. So just a note to add to this, when I search 833, it's going to bring up absolutely every opportunity that's on Due North that includes 833, because YPO don't actually own Proactis, it's just an e-tendering portal that we run our procurements on. So as you can see, these are all the opportunities on Due North that include 833. So just obviously make sure you locate the one that's YPO. So you can see here under buyer, this one's ours. So you're just going to click on the blue writing here, and it's going to bring you through to the expression of interest. So here it's just going to give you a little bit more information about the tender, some contact details should you have any issues, again just some key dates. So the first thing to do really is just to register your interest in this opportunity, which is here on this green illuminated button. So I'm just going to click here and hope it works. Monday morning. So yeah, here we are. Expression of interest is successful. That's great. Here again is just some details should you have any issues, so you can contact anybody. So we've got the generic email address and just a telephone number. So I'm just going to close out of here, and then here it's going to ask me if I want to go straight through to the documents now. So should you be working on the documents straight away, brill, you can go straight there immediately, or if you're going to be going back later, just click yes, I am sure. Now, for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to click that I don't want to go to the documents yet, because actually when you do come back into the tender to work on it, you locate it differently once you've registered an interest. So we're just going to go back and look at how we do that. So my expression of interest is successful. That's brilliant. I'm going to go back to the home page. So here is going to show everything that I've registered an interest in once I've filtered it. So if you just make sure that you, in the active tab, you're going to do a drop down YPO, because that's obviously the buyer that you're going to be tendering against, and then again just sort of a key element of which tender you are locating. So here you can see obviously it's bobbed up again, so I'm just going to click on the blue area of the title, and it's going to take me through. So here you can see under current events, our expression of interest has been accepted. So now we actually want to start on our documents. So we're just going to come here to the right hand side and click start. So just referring really quickly back to what Charlotte said regarding the procurement timetable, here you will be able to see the deadline and time remaining of this current round. So this is how long you've got to bid before that round closes. But as Charlotte said, don't worry, you don't hit that deadline, you'll just go into the next round. Again, we've got just some more information about the tender, some information here for if you are having any issues. And then here is the messages and clarifications area. We'll come back to that in a second. And down here on your response is really quite useful because it's got sort of a little checklist. So you'll be able to see which elements of the tender you've done before you actually do go ahead and submit your response. So this is a bit that catches people out quite frequently. So as soon as you're down here, people think that they're going to come to the question sets here and just start working on them. What you need to do is ensure that you have clicked on Start My Response. Without that, you can't actually answer the questions. So, as you can see now, clicking through on that Start My Response area has brought up a little progress bar, and obviously next to that we've got a little edit action. So what we're going to do is, this is the first question set, the Standards and Selection Questionnaire, and we're going to edit that, go straight into there and have a look. So quickly, just to point out, the selection questionnaire is what is set out by CCS, and it's just sort of a bit of a question set, just to ensure that you can work with the public sector, and just to ensure that everything is sort of all right. And then we get down to the mandatory questions in a second. So here you can see that you've got this question sets, and what you need to do is just have a quick read of the question. You're going to come in and answer the question and have, like I say, just have a read of it. If there is any question attachments, they're going to be down here. If there are, please do ensure that you open them up, give them a read. Like I say, read the question. If you agree with it, brill, yes. And then you can come out of that, save and close. So like we just said, that's the selection questionnaire. It does look quite lengthy on there, but it's not. And then we're going to get down to the mandatory criteria. Now, these are just some criteria that the buying team have put together that you must be able to meet in order to be on the framework agreement. Again, very, very, very similar setup. You're going to have a quick read of the mandatory criteria, answer question, and then obviously you agree with it, brill, yes. If not, obviously you click no. And then if there is any attachments you wish to upload, again, you can just add attachment. So then again, we save and close. So once you have completed all these questions, obviously you can see really helpfully that we've completed this first question. So it's gone green, and again, your progress bar has gone up ever so slightly because we've answered 2 questions. So I'm just scrolling down now, right to the bottom, because I'm going to go back, and this is just to the front face of the tender again. So for this bit now, I'm just going to pass you back over to Charlotte, and she's just going to go through with you the documents in order to be able to bid.
So as Katrina mentioned, I'm just going to go through the documents, the award questions, that will be the second part of your bid. So what you will do is you will press edit on the second section of the portal. Then you'll come to this section and it'll say, please see attached the documentation for the specific routes and standards. So we'll just click answer question on there. Now you'll see a little bit of title and description around there, and then you will see the questions attached as well. Now there do look to be quite a few documents on there, however they'll only be relevant to the specific standard that you want to bid. There will also be some elements on there that you will need to fill as part of your bid as well. So at the top you will see your main tender particulars document. Just going to open that up and show you what is in that document. So this is all about the framework agreement, how we've put it together, and the things you will need to know as a provider. So like it says on here, the background, the overview of the invitation to tender and the procurement process, the specification, so that's the overarching specification, and then additional tender information and instructions to tenderers. So it's a really good document to look at and read through, and it's very important as well, making sure you are doing it the correct way when bidding, because there are quite a few documents to fill in, like it says on here. So I'm just going to close that document, but like I say, that is a very important document to look through as well. We go to the framework for apprenticeships and associated services. So this document is the contract between YPO and yourselves, and this document cannot be changed. It has been set now, so it cannot be changed at any time. Please read through this document, as you'll need to sign it at the end, and obviously if you are a successful provider, we will need this contract in place. If not, then you can't bid for any work through that framework as well. Just going to skip this SIP document here for a moment. Appendix A, so that's the apprenticeship lot breakdown. Just going to show you what's in that document. So as you can see, there are routes along the bottom, and then you can see the framework title, the region, the route title, the lot reference, and the standard title as well. And if you go across, you can see when that route became live. So that particular standard went live on the first round. However, this standard went live on the 6th round as well. So you can filter by the routes and the standard based on when it came live. Then you will tick as a provider of what standard you can do in which particular region. This is a very helpful document for us, as we can see what providers are wanting to bid for what standard. Then beneath that, we've got the pricing schedule. So for each standard, we will need the pricing schedule filled in. So just waiting for it to load. Okay. So there is pricing guidance there. Please read through it, as it is really important just to make sure that you are submitting in the right format. So we've got the apprenticeship standard pricing, so obviously you put down the breakdowns of the costings through which delivery model. You can do multiple delivery models depending on what you currently do, and the pricing will be at the bottom. This bit will be evaluated by the team. However, below on the 0 to 5 apprentices will not be. This is for information only, and it's for the customers going forward. Also, if you do any associated training, obviously this is outside of the apprenticeship levy funding, but also if there's anything else that you will do as part of that standard, then you can put your costings in there. And also for endpoint assessment, if you're an EPA only, then that's absolutely fine. You will just fill that element in. If it is an integrated degree, you will fill in this element and this element as well. Yeah, okay. So we're just going to close off that one as well. And then Appendix C. So Appendix C is the provider information document. Now this is really useful. We do have a YPO apprenticeship website, and customers can just automatically download this response from your company details. So all it's asking for is your company and the website and a company overview, who they would contact regarding wanting to find a standard via the framework, company overview, apprenticeship experience, so how long you've been in the apprenticeship game kind of thing, and then any additional information as well. You will also find the 4-year timetable here. It is available on various routes, so it is available via YPO /apprenticeships website. It is available on here. If you can't find it anywhere, please let us know and we can send it out. And then this is mainly the most important document ever. No. So if you click Apprenticeship, Business and Administration, now it is a zip file, so what we have done is we've allowed for each route to have its own zip document. Within each route is each of the standards. So for example, I'm just going to go into, I want to deliver as a provider, business and administrator. So you will see this is the supplier response document, the invitation to tender. So you will scroll down and it will give you kind of the table of contents, so an overview of the invitation to tender, the service specification, and the bid for you to complete. So just scroll down. This is all information in relation to this specific standard. So specification. So this is basically pulled from the Institute for Apprenticeships website. So it'll give you the standard overview. So it'll give you the level, the reference to it, the duration, and the maximum funding banding also. Then it'll give you occupational profile, give you an overview of what the standard is all about. Now, the things you'll need to complete within this document is the contact name, organisation, email address and contact number. You will then take to what are you bidding for? So are you just bidding for the apprenticeships and associated training, employment assessor or associated training? Completely up to you. Then you will then take which regions you would also like to do. So for example, I could take that I want to bid for East Midlands, Yorkshire and Humber, South West. Now you will only need to complete one document for the regions that you want to bid against. So you don't have to bid multiple times for the multiple regions, just that once. We will also ask you some sub-criteria. So what is the Ofsted rating of your organisation? Now, if you don't have an Ofsted rating, please just make a note within the this cell or any of the cells within that and make us aware of that. Now what we do say is any Ofsted rating, if it changes, please let us know within kind of 24 to 48 hours of that being changed, and we can get it updated on our website. Please advise the number of students you can deliver in a cohort. The numbers are there, and this is all just based on the sub-criteria. So based on your sub-criteria is based on a customer's requirement. So for example, a customer may say that actually I want you to deliver in one intake 0 to 5 apprentices. So they would tick that they want 0 to 5 apprentices, and you will come up on the list for that sub-criteria. And it keeps on going. Facilities, commencement dates, they roll on, or your academic dates only, and things like that. That's one element of the, that's the nice bit of it. Now then we come to the method statement questions. So there are 17 questions for you to answer. This is really important for you to do correctly. And please put as much detail in as you possibly can. A customer can direct award to you as an organisation based on these 17 questions. So that bit's for the apprenticeships and associated training element. Now, an endpoint assessor will just need to fill in the 3 questions at the bottom. If it is an integrated degree, we would expect the 17 questions and these 3 questions as well to be filled in. Like I say, this is really important. Please go to town with this element of the bidding. As like I say, a direct award a customer can do via this content as well. So direct award is based on quality and price, or should I say and or price. So it's really important for you to put the best you can into this response. And as you can see, there is numerous zip files for each of the routes available. So some will be quite familiar with these routes. We are adding the new standards that are available on the Institute for Apprenticeships on the 1st of November. So that gives providers 30 days to bid left on there as well. So I'm just going to pass back to Kat, and she's going to show you how to upload. Now, we do get lots of frequently asked questions on this, so it's very important just to make sure that you are aware on how to upload your documents. It sounds straightforward, but sometimes the system isn't.
Yeah.
So we're just going to make sure that you all are aware of that.
Brilliant, thank you, Charlotte. Yeah, so if we just sort of head back to our front page of the tender, we'll just quickly scroll down to obviously this checklist. So obviously we won't be able to actually bid until we've completed all these elements. So I guess sort of the first thing to mention is to obviously make sure that you have completed the standard selection questionnaire. The progress bar will be full when you have done this. Until that point, you will not be able to submit your response. And again, similarly, you will not be able to bid until the progress bar on here is full, pretty much. So if you just come down to your response timetable, you're just going to see this area here. So as working in the contracts team, this is a question that we get asked a lot. So they're saying that they've done everything, they've completed the SQ, they've completed their award questions, they've done absolutely everything they can, but it's not letting them bid. Now, that is this bit on the checklist. It's complete the additional information. Now, once you've seen it, you kick yourself, but it's actually quite well hidden. So it's this area here on the portal, and you're just going to come to the right-hand side, click edit, and honestly, the only actual bit of it that we need you to do is click the I have read and understood this section. Now, by all means, please bob in a supplier reference, put some response information in there and additional comments. We would expect anything that you would put in there to be in your tender. So honestly, don't worry about it. Just make sure you have ticked the I have read and understood this, because without it, quite frankly, you can't bid. So I'm just going to save that element, come out of here, and we should see that that bit has gone green on our tick list now. Yeah, brilliant, you can see it's gone green. So I guess the next bit really is to upload our documents that Charlotte's just gone through. So we're going to come obviously down to the award questions. We're going to come over to the right hand side and we'll click edit. So similarly to the obviously the SQ and the mandatory criteria, we look at our question and we bob in on the answer question part of things. Obviously here you'll have had all your question attachments and everything. So this question requires you to respond with an attachment. So how you're going to do this is you're going to click add attachment, and then you're going to add files, and then this is how you're going to come to add your documents. So here you can see that I've had my documents saved here. I'm going to open up, and this is sort of a good area to sort of have a bit of a checklist. So yeah, I've got my Appendix A there, my apprenticeship lot breakdown, I've got my Appendix B there, Brill, my Appendix C, provider information, and my actual tender document. It would be really good to have the tender particulars open at this point, and because obviously it lists all the documents that you need to return. So just having that there will just make sure that obviously you do your final check, make sure that's there. So then you're just going to click start upload. And then obviously here you can see documents that you have uploaded. So I'm just going to save and close that. And you can see here, because obviously there's only one question in this part of it, that my progress is now 100% because I have completed all this area. So I'm just going to come back now. So now the thing that I need to do is to go in and complete my standard and selection questionnaire. And then once I've done that, I'll be able to come down here and I will be able to submit my response. Because I'm not going to sit here and go through the standard selection questionnaire and all the mandatories with you, because it would take a lot longer than what we've got time booked in for. But if you do have any issues with that, let me know. But essentially, this is to the point of ready to submit. Like I say, you would just need to complete that, and once it looks like the below here, similarly to when we registered in interest, we will have the green illuminated button of submit your response. You would click that, and then it will say, are you sure? You'll say yes, and then it will submit your response. Now, I do believe that as well, just to confirm that, you will get an email from ProContract just to let you know that you have bid and your bid has gone through. So yeah, that's just another element that just gives you sort of a bit more sort of, you know, guidance that that's happened. So I'm just going to quickly come back to summary. Because I don't know if you can remember at the beginning I mentioned that we would come back to the messaging area. So this again is just the front element of the tender. Again, you've got your deadline and time remaining. So messages and clarifications. This is just an area of the portal should, when you come to start filling in your documents, basically you've got a question. So if you start reading your document and think, oh, that doesn't make sense, or actually I need more clarification on this, you would raise a message through here. So we'll just go through that. So we're going to view all. So you won't be able to see anything here. We can't see anything here as of yet because obviously we're coming into this for the first time. But just to make you aware, any clarification that any other providers have made, we do actually publish this publicly. So should a provider ask a question that you're interested in, we will upload any responses, any questions asked. Obviously it's all anonymised, so don't worry, don't be thinking I don't want to ask a question just in case someone knows your company's bidding. It is all anonymous, and then we'll get an answer on there. So it's almost like writing an email. We're just going to come here and create new message. Sorry, again, it's a Monday, doesn't want to cooperate. So yeah, like I said, it's literally like writing an email. We'll put a subject in there, and then obviously we've got actually the body of what it is that we want to ask. So we'll type something in there, should you have any attachments, because actually it might be that you're having an issue with a certain element that you want to fully highlight, so you might add a screenshot, and then literally once you've done that, you're just going to send your message. Now that will come through to the team and they will answer it as quickly as they can. So we'll just come back. So obviously, as I have just mentioned, all clarifications are publicly responded to. If you do want to look at the clarifications that have been asked and responded to before you've come onto the tender, you're just going to come down to the narrow your results area. So received, sent within. I'm just going to put previous 30 days because this tender's been out quite a while, so there's quite a few to look at. So we'll just update. Oh wait, sorry. Let me move back. I'll just come back to here and we'll just put today, update. Sorry, that's obviously, I'm obviously not doing something right, am I? And obviously to say that I should be able to know. But yeah, if you just get in contact with us if it's not working for you, but yeah, you should be able to see all previous sort of clarifications, and it just gives you a bit of an insight as to what providers have been asking previously. So yeah, we'll come back. So yeah, That's sort of everything in terms of the portal side of things. Like I say, if there are any issues with it, do not hesitate to give us an email, give us a call on that number, and we'll be able to just talk you through everything portal wise. But yeah, in terms of portal, that's it. So I'll bobby back on to Charlotte.
Okay, so we're just going to go through kind of the benefits for you as a provider. Obviously, you're doing all this work, and actually, what are the benefits for you to be on the framework? So, first of all, this is a national framework. So we obviously, some people may think we just deliver in the Yorkshire area, and that's not true. We deliver on a national remit. So any organisations can use the framework as well. This is perfect for local providers and SMEs to join the framework. So obviously, if some of you are local colleges or a small provider within that specific region, you can join the framework. So it is definitely local provider friendly. There's the ability to do direct award and further competition. So a customer can do a direct award based on the submission that you've submitted within that particular round, or they could do a further competition. Now, I would say that majority of direct awards and further competitions, we are getting quite a few direct awards via the framework. Further competitions, what I do say is to some of the customers, large scale, or if you do not know what provider to go to, then please do a further competition. However, further competitions, we are seeing a lot of large scale further competitions go out. We will market you as a provider, so send over any blogs, case studies, articles, anything at all. We can send via our routes, social media routes, newsletters. We have like newsletters specific for each sector, so it'd be great to get obviously an article or blogs or anything that you have done into our newsletters. We will support you, so we're always at the end of the phone if you need any support with a customer or anything at all. We can do events that you may be holding. We can also support you with events here, so if you'd like to do any events up in Wakefield, then you are more than welcome to as well. The framework is obviously evolving all the time. So like I say, we add providers, we add standards as and when they are introduced. And obviously you as a provider can add to your portfolio. So you can keep on adding as and when the new standards come on board. Or for example, if you want to just add one standard this particular round, knowing that you're going to be, hopefully accepted onto it, then in the next coming months you can add to your portfolio in the other rounds associated as well. So that's kind of it. I hope that's all been okay and very useful for you all. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly look through some of the questions that have been asked, and then we will go from there and I will answer those questions. Obviously, with any questions that I don't get to go through, then I'll put on a Q&A document and I will share it with every single one of you after this webinar. So I've got quite a few, well, I've got 4 questions so far. So the first question is, if you want to update the framework, do you have to do all the mandatory selection and questionnaire again? So it will be pre-populated with some elements of the selection and mandatory questionnaire. However, obviously some of the questions are going to be, is it relevant within that time scale? So they might be updated, and those are the sort of questions that will probably need you just to flick through and answer those. However, majority of your selection and mandatory questionnaire should be pre-populated once you have bid that first time.
Just to add to that as well, as Charlotte's just said, yes, it is there, and like I said to you guys earlier, actually it's not just us that advertise tenders on Proactis. So actually the selection questionnaire, once you have pretty much filled that in once, as Charlotte said, the ones that aren't time bound, obviously that you do need to update more regularly, they are actually just going to be pulled through for you. So yeah, you don't have to keep doing that over and over again.
Yeah, so that, I hope that's answered your question. The second question is, if a provider has already been approved on the framework for certain standards, can they apply again for additional standards on upcoming application rounds? Absolutely. This is the reason why we have made the framework how it is, so you can, you can bid as many times as you want for the different standards. Please keep on adding to your portfolio. So as and when, like I say, on the 1st of November, next Friday, we will be adding the next, I think there's 28 standards that are new to the Institute for Apprenticeships. So we will keep on adding to those, and you can bid for them as well. So yeah, please keep on adding for the upcoming application rounds as well. What are the time frames and next step once a provider puts in a submission to be added to YPO? So as you can imagine, we do get quite a few bids. On average, we do get kind of 180 bids each round, so it's quite a massive operation for us here at YPO. Once you have bid, say for example on the 2nd of December at 2 p.m, that particular round will go live in February. The reason for this is to give us as much time as possible to evaluate your bids and get the letters sent out to you, but also we have the YPO website that we need to populate as well prior to the live date. So we do give ourselves like a quarter to get everything sorted, but we kind of publish it so that customers are aware when particular providers will go live. So we can't kind of give any shorter distance, so, and we don't do any fast track, unfortunately. The framework has been set out, so we won't be giving you a chance to bid any quicker, unfortunately. But hopefully we can sort something out in the near future for the new procurement in relation to that, because I can understand it's a barrier for some organisations. Another question, sorry, can additional standards be added at a later stage, or will we need to complete another tender? So you will need to complete another tender. The reason for this is each standard is different and we need specific answers for that particular standard, especially for a customer to direct award to you. Now, I would say that, a lot of the questions are kind of similar. So you will be used to answering each of the questions. However, obviously the specific questions related into, what course material do you do for business administrator will all need to be different. So yeah, unfortunately, you will need to bid for each standard if you have any additional ones. Hope that's okay. I hope that's been really useful. If there are any other questions, what we're going to do is we will send question and answer document out to all providers. Even the ones that I've gone through today as well, we'll add those on there just to make sure you've got all the answers to everything. And if you need any support, please get in touch with me. Obviously the email is on there, apprenticeships@ypo.co.uk, my phone number as well. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you found it useful.